Shri Gurave Namaha. Unfavorable results stemming from committing offenses. In the Bhakti Sandarbha, Anucheda 153, Srila Jiva Goswami describes 5 unfavorable effects resulting from Namaprad. These effects may be carried in the heart from one birth to the next. Crookedness or performing devotional service to gain something other than Krishna's pleasure. Faithlessness, attachment to things that destroy faith in the Lord, slackness in the performance of devotional practices, pride in one's devotional advancement. Offenses are extremely deleterious to our devotional progress. Srila Prabhupada's translation of the second verse of the Sikshashtaka in Chaitanya Charitamrita Lila 20.16 underlines this point. My Lord, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, in your holy name there is all good fortune for the living entity, and therefore you have many names such as Krishna and Govinda, by which you expand yourself. You have invested all your potencies in those names, and there are no hard and fast rules for remembering them. My dear Lord, although you bestow such mercy upon the fallen, conditioned souls by liberally teaching your holy names, I am so unfortunate that I commit offenses while chanting the holy name, and therefore I do not achieve attachment for chanting. Emphasis added. Again, the second Sikshashtaka verse indicates the importance of anartha nibriti, cleansing the heart. This verse glorifies the fact that chanting is not restricted by time or place. It is fully transcendental process, and we are free to chant Krishna's holy name in every circumstance. But although Krishna is so kind, Taba Kripa Bhagavan, we are so unfortunate, Durdeva, because of the anarthas in our heart, our lack of understanding, our material attachments, our weaknesses, and our offenses. We remain unfortunate, devoid of attachment to Krishna's holy names. Although we are attached by so many things of this world, we have no attachment and no attraction to Krishna's holy names. What can I do to help ourselves? Do not criticize devotees. Criticism of devotees is born of pride and inflames envy. Often our criticism takes place during casual conversation when we are not even thinking about what we are saying. But every time we express envy and malice toward a devotee, the lotus of the heart contracts. Those who want to chant purely must avoid all sadhu ninda, including the cheap and unthinking variety. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu warned Raghunath Das Goswami, Gramya Katha na shunibe. Do not talk and gossip like people in general or hear what they say. Avoiding pramada, inattention while chanting. Whenever devotees discuss chanting and how to improve it, they inevitably come to the central problem, pramad, the inability to keep the mind focused on the holy names. Srila Bhakti Siddhant Bhakti Vinod Thakur devotes chapters 4 through 13 of his Harinam Chintamani to the Padma Purana's list of 10 offenses to avoid while chanting. Chapter 12 is devoted solely to curing the problem of pramad. There he states pramad may mean madness, but here the meaning is inattention or carelessness. It is from this offense that all other offenses spring. Inattention has three basic categories, and Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur lists them as audashinya, apathetic devotional service, or the lack of a fixed resolve in sadhana. Jadya, laziness or inertia, and vikshepa, distraction or the misplacing of one's attention on engagement not directly connected with sadhana bhakti. Apathy indicates that we lack a deep concern for either our chanting practice or the holy name itself. As a result, we have no taste for chanting. Laziness creates sleepiness and feeds distraction. And again, we find ourselves with no taste. Distraction relates to the grasshopper mind jumping everywhere and anywhere and remaining unable to maintain its focus on the holy name. Clearly, to attain test while chanting Krishna's holy name, we must overcome our inability to pay attention. To accomplish this, it is helpful to understand the nature and workings of the mind. Let's stop here, Prabhuji. Okay, so I'll just summarize what we read today. It's mostly we read about how unearths develop in our heart, and those once those unearths develop, they are like we carry forward them birth after birth. So how to avoid those unearths? Mostly it is written two main points, that is criticize, we should not criticize any devotee, and inattention while chanting. So criticism, it's like it's mentioned. Sometimes we also do it casually, like we even don't know that we're criticizing someone. It begins from a casual talk, but that's also being unearthas in our heart. We should not criticize anyone. We should not criticize devotees. Then second one is inattention while chanting. Like while chanting, we're thinking other stuff, because we don't have much faith that kind of faith in Krishna's name. Actually, Krishna's name, that is Krishna's name and Krishna are non-different. It's mentioned that Krishna has put so much of potencies in his names, and we don't understand that. That's why while chanting, we don't pay attention to the names like we're chanting, and that inattention also brings all the unearthas. And why, why all these things are happening? We'll read in further chapters that it's all coming from one rebellious mentality. Like we don't we anytime we are doing any kind of offense, we forget that what is our position. We always forget that we are the eternal servant of Krishna, Jiva Swarupa Krishna Nitya Das. But because of our like rebellious mentality, we want to compete with Krishna. We are envious of Krishna. We want to be the master. We want to lord it over the material nature. That's why we came here. We forget that what's our real position. After coming here, also Krishna is giving. So why Krishna created this material world? So we will fulfill our desires and we'll ultimately go back home, back to Godhead. So while in this material world, we are like conditioned, means like we are under the control of the material nature. But if we don't forget what our real position is, that our position is servant, we have to behave like servant of Krishna. So we can like have faith in Krishna. We have to develop that faith in Krishna and Krishna's holy names. We can pay attention while chanting, and we can get rid of all the offenses, and we'll get rid of all the anarthas in our heart, and we'll cleanse our heart. We can develop that Krishna prema. We have to develop that attachment for Krishna. That's